So when you look at this image, you find out that you have a lot going on here in this image. So one of the first thing you do after shooting, you bring your work into post-production. Before you go through the whole frequency separation and retouching thing, you prep the image for retouching. Now, how do you do that? You criticize the image. When you look at the image, just like the one we have here, you ask yourself, what is wrong with this image? What is the problem with this image? Now, if you don't know what is wrong with the image, how are you going to know the solution? So you have to be able to, criticize your own image very, very correctly. Now, if I want to retouch this image right now, I'm going to criticize this image. How am I going to criticize this image? I'm going to look at the image. What is wrong with this image? First of all, I have overblown highlights mostly around her dress. Just this area. This area where all these areas, the highlights here are overblown. We don't want that. I don't want that at all on the image. And then also when I look at the image, I find out that the texture, the image is lacking a whole lot of texture. A lot of factors can contribute to this, why your image does not have much details just the way you want to. Look at how it is. To me, it's a little bit flat. And so what I want to do is I would like to have some texture on the skin. Why not we do it just like we're saying, we'll just be doing it at the same time. So on this area, I'm just going to kill that highlight on the image. I'm going to kill that highlight, kill it all the way down. Now, notice the adjustment we've done so far. See, now we've gotten those details back on the dress. We've gotten the details back on the dress. You can see those details are now coming out on the dress. And then the next thing you want to do is, now when I look at this image, just like I said before, I'm still gonna go back to before and after. There's a lot going on here. Now there's no texture around this place. The image is kind of flat. The shadows are not properly defined and all of that. So I like the shadows to be defined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to go to the face now. Okay. And then, oh sorry, initially what we took down was the white was what gave us these details right here. And so now when we get to the face, let's zoom that back a little bit for you to see. Okay, about that area is good. Okay. So I'm going to take out that highlights, the highlights a little bit down. I'm going to add contrast a little bit, contrast the image a little bit, and then notice these shadows around her eyes, and then I really don't want that, so I'm going to take away the shadows a little bit. Okay. Taking out the shadows. Okay, and then for that texture on the skin that we're looking for, I'm going to add a little bit of texture on the skin, and then add a little bit of clarity on the screen. Now it's looking as if I'm messing the image up, but this is the whole essence of frequency separation, because you want the image to not lose its texture. You want it to look original. You want your client to see themselves in a more perfect state and yet still be original. So that's the more essence of it. So by the time you look at the process of prepping the image, it looks as if you're damaging the pixel, but no, you're adding more quality to the pixel, so that by the time you take it now to Photoshop and do further post-production on it, you're going to find out that those things, those images, those textures, those skin details are going to pop out very, very much. I'm going to add a little bit of the haze, because we still want that quality on the face. Now look at that. This is what we have for our Lightroom adjustment. So this is how I'm going to prep my image. A little bit of that, add a little bit of this, also add a little bit of that texture also. So this is how I'm going to prep my image before taking it to post-production. This is just exactly how I'm going to prep my image. I'm not going to do anything further. Now at this point, from this point, I will now take it into into Photoshop for further post-production. Now this is what we have. Look at how the original image is very, very flat, and look at how the one we did the Lightroom adjustment on. Look at the details on the images. Look at the imperfections on the images are really coming out. Now you get, after you do all of these things, you get to see all of the mistakes from the makeup artist. So when you bring this image into post-production, after doing all of these corrections on them, and it brings out those imperfections, that is when you see the real problem of the image, and then you can now do further adjustment on the image, and then the image is going to be better. I hope this helps your your work to be better. Thank you so very much for watching, and thank you for sticking around with me. I want you to hit that subscribe button, and if you stay on the channel, I'm going to drop the next video. You're going to see is the final video of how I did this image. The video is going to be extensively long, and I'm going to take you all through the whole process of frequency separation from the ground up to the finish. I'm going to show you how I color graded the image. I'm going to show you how I did all of that. So I want you to stay with me on this one until the end. Thank you very much for sticking around. My name is Freeman Archie, and see you guys next time.